Hi guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome to the channel. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your support. Your monthly subscriptions help to fund this channel and keeping it going. So I greatly appreciate each and every one of you also. If you want to support the channel with a monthly subscription, please go over to patreon.com and look up Engelgeist. You can choose a subscription level over there, and it helps to just support these free daily readings, the free monthly tarot, and all this sort of stuff that I put up over here on this channel. What was I going to say? This is your daily forecast. This is for the Greater Collective, for the highest good, for Tuesday, August 11th. It's not necessarily just set for that date, though. If you're watching this and it's not August 11th, that's completely fine. You can still utilize this reading as if it were for you. Maybe it's time for you to hear the message. You might be in alignment with it at the time that you're seeing it, so don't get caught up on the date. I believe every message for the highest good of the Greater Collective is a valid and good message. It's sort of timeless in that way, so just allow it to take place and see where it applies to your life. If it doesn't make sense as you're watching it, that's okay. It may not be a message for you. You just sort of take what you need and leave the rest. And that's it. Other ways you can support the channel, you can look at my, you can follow, look at my Instagram. Yeah, just look at it. That's a great way to support it. No, you could sign up, follow my Instagram, my business page on Facebook, or subscribe here to the YouTube channel. I would greatly appreciate all of those forms of support. Leaving a comment, a question, anything like that, I try and respond to those. And also hitting the thumbs up symbol is a great way to support the channel. If you like the work that I'm doing, it's making a positive impact, let me know. If there's anything you're interested in seeing, let me know that too. All right, so let's get into the reading and see what's going on. I feel like we have a really good week ahead of us. I hope that's the case. The Sunday reading was beautiful. So, and then yesterday's reading was also really wonderful too. So I get a feeling that something's in the works, but let's see. Let's see if the cards stay in that vein. Okay. Oh, hey, Tower. All right, so the Tower is not necessarily the most positive of cards. Let me just put it up here for you guys to see a little bit closer. It's beautiful art, though. The Tower is not the most positive of cards. It's kind of one of the, the three cards that nobody wants to see. That would be Death, the Devil, or the Tower. To me, the Tower is always kind of like that let go or be dragged moment. I say that a lot. The people that watch me regularly know that phrase. The Tower is kind of something that's built upon sort of shaky foundations. It's something that we expected to kind of be around, or an aspect of our life that we expected to sort of be around forever. And whether we've, intuitively knew it or not, it's maybe coming to an end, right? And a tower doesn't necessarily have to be a surprise. It can represent the sort of something that's unexpected, that's kind of falling apart, or being destroyed, coming to an end, that sort of a thing. But it's always sort of making room for something new, right? And that's the beauty of these cards, especially with Tower and Death. They're very similar in that way, because I always believe that they're an ending, but they're an ending that surrounds, they're more so, you can choose to focus on the loss of the ending of whatever is coming to an end, or you can choose to focus on the reality that something is transforming and hopefully for the better, right? The Tower always kind of brings that in, right? To me, death is inevitable. Like, death is something that we all have to face regardless. It's like cyclical and it happens. The Tower to me is more about sort of things being built on situations or people, expectations being placed in places where we maybe shouldn't have, or we didn't see it coming, but it's kind of like, it wasn't the most stable of situations, right? And so it's not necessarily where death is death is like a cyclical card, where the Tower is kind of It's all about sort of being built upon something that was not going to hold in the long run, or it's no longer working for us. It's no longer, we're maybe no longer in vibrational alignment to it. It's no longer a situation that's bringing us joy or teaching us anything anymore, or creating. It's just bringing us sort of misery and pain, and it needs to be removed. It's not necessarily something that we want to let go of either. The tower, that's sort of the struggle and the lightning strike. It can have, the lightning strike also kind of signifies to me that idea that it can come out of the blue and we're like, oh shit, right? But ultimately, in the end, this tower or this shift is for our greater good. It is part of the major arcana, so it's going to have a significant impact. It's going to be sort of big. I would say this, with that Ace of Pentacles from yesterday and also that King of Wands in the Sunday underpinning, right? If we have the King of Wands underneath this tower moment, if we find things dismantling, even if it feels like it's outside of our control, well, then utilize the action and the savviness, the sort of the directness, all of that sort of stuff of the King of Wands to make those decisions that you need to make right now to allow you to move through whatever needs to kind of come apart. For some of you, this could be you actively taking apart situations and scenarios, relationships, whatever, that need to go. And you know it. And so it's time to look at the foundations that they're built upon and the faultiness, the shakiness, the incredible sort of insecurity that these situations that we've held on to are providing us with, and how it's no longer working. It's time to kind of move something that's been in place for a while out. And if we don't do it, like if we don't get out ahead of it in a way, then it's going to be removed for us. And I feel like that's also something with the towers. If we don't lean into it and embrace the experience of the change, then it becomes a lot more suffering than we need. Right? And that's the part that I think people fear with this card. Tower moments to me are opportunities, right? They're these opportunities for the unknown, for change in big and exciting ways. Are they comfortable always? Not really, but they sort of show us what we're made of, right? They do have the opportunity to not only transform a situation and bring about profound change, but they also can show us where our strengths are and where our weaknesses lie. Right? And so that's the part about like leaning into it and accepting it and then rolling with the change, allowing the change to take place, right? The shift, allowing whatever needs to go, letting it go fully and trusting that something better will come along in its place, something more suited to us. And this could be anything for each one of you watching, right? I get a feeling when I'm looking at this tower, we know what the tower scenario is. We've kind of known it for a while, right? And that's the sort of the clarity of that Ace of Pentacles from yesterday, and then the, which is all around the material spectrum of our life. So addressing that and going, okay, what is it that I want in my life? The tower is saying, okay, well, if you want that, you need to like let go of this. This needs to be removed. This needs to be changed. It may be a bigger thing than we might feel comfortable with wanting to change, but I think that if we change it, the reward is there. There's an opportunity there, right? And if we don't change it, it's going to change itself eventually. That's kind of always the message behind the tower. If we hold on too tightly, we're going to struggle. So I don't see this as a bad card. I actually see this as that sort of Ace of Pentacles ushers in this tower moment from yesterday, right? That Ace of Pentacles is that inspiration of, oh, I want this. Well, if you want that, then this needs to change kind of thing. So we may need to end this over here or whatever we've been working on whatever we've been holding on to might need to shift and change. Now, the the Angels and Ancestors card is Shaolin Master, right? It says, be graceful in movement and action. When I look at this, it's funny. It looks like he's putting up a fist to this tower. It almost looks like this ball here is he's getting ready to send over to the tower to kind of fight with the tower, right? Or to destroy the tower himself. The Shaolin Master is sort of also this idea to me of that King of Wands that's underneath all of this. We have a lot of Wands energy coming into this week, right? We begin with the King and end with the Page of Wands. The Shaolin Master also signifies sort of this fire energy in the sense that we've got this dragon behind him. He's in this reddish orange wrap here. To me, that gives me fire energy, right? Dragon is definitely an element of an animal of fire, right? So when I'm looking at this, he's also got a praying mantis on his hand. I just noticed that. That's interesting. I don't know the meaning of praying mantis. I would have to look that up. But to me, there is this forceful, assertive nature with Shaolin Master. But when we're talking about being graceful in movement and action, it's about that clarity of the King of Wands, right? That ability to keep our spirit in like keep awareness of our spirit and what our spirit desires, taking action with the element of fire, yet being noble and appropriate like the king, right? Making smart choices, making smart decisions, staring down situations that we may face that we know need to change, and we're not really, maybe we're not, we haven't been in the past, we haven't been ready for those things to change. It feels like now is the time. Shaolin Master feels like the strength that we need to get out in front of it, to face it, to even potentially help dismantle it. That's that fist that he's holding towards that tower. To me, it feels like he's almost like popping it forward, hitting that tower and knocking it apart. We might be the one that are consciously making a decision to shift our lives in a way that will be profound. Will it feel disruptive at first? Quite possibly, right? But can we grow through it? Can we move through it? Can we be graceful in our thoughts and actions as we move through it? Yes. Is it an opportunity for us to sort of grow and see how strong we are? Yes. Right? So let's read these cards really quick. Come on, Tower. Where's the Tower? Here we go. So each night the crows gather from the miles around to roost in the top of an old bell tower that sits on top of a hill away from the city lights. From generation to generation, the tower offered a warm space to escape the elements on cold, stormy evenings and a cool place to perch on hot summer nights. The tower has always provided a comfortable shelter, and it was a place that offered security for young and old. This is, of course, until it wasn't. The tower comes with a warning. Do not become too comfortable or complacent. Do not think for a moment that it all can't be whisked away in a flash. Mentally prepare yourself. Change is always afoot. Sometimes change happens and goes by virtually unnoticed, but not this time. No, you will feel it, and it will shake your ground. How you manage this change will have a direct impact on how you fare in the future. The energy caused by this change may spark something within that will move you towards a better place. How the pieces fall are up to you. And I think that that's sort of the Shaolin Master about being graceful in movement and action as we move through these situations, right? There might be moments where we're, letting go. This could also be letting go of sort of like dynamics in a relationship that have lasted forever. Say there's I'm just using this as an example. Say there's like a loved one or a family member that we interact with in a way that doesn't serve us anymore. This would be like trying to choose something different, something that's more graceful in thought and action, right? Like the Shaolin Master. Maybe we have to step back from this relationship. Maybe we have to reassess how we interact with this person, right? And we have to let that go. It was something that was familiar and comfortable, but it no longer works. It's no longer serving you or them. And so there's a way to go about doing it that is kind or but still based in strength. Does that make sense? So some of you may be dealing with that sort of a situation. Let me see here, page 66 for Shaolin Master. Okay, be graceful in movement and action. Slow and steady, breathe and flow, take a gentler approach. So slow and steady right out of the gate makes me think of that Ace of Pentacles energy too that we had yesterday. And the Shaolin Master calls forth the ninja within. Shaolin medicine is about learning to adapt to a situation and to tap into the energy running through your body and preserve it in order to release it at the right moment. It also teaches subtlety because when you are too forceful, you use too much energy, and that may not be supportive of what you are working on. The Shaolin master, like a monk, has respect for all things. He is disciplined and guided by his art and will never use it to impress the foolish or to appear stronger than someone who is threatening him. You too are being invited to remain graceful in your movement, choices, and actions. So even if, and I'm going to say this too, another sort of alternate meaning to these two cards being paired together is even if stuff, for some of you that might feel like stuff is shifting and you don't want it to, or you're in resistance to it, I feel like Shaolin Masters are like reminding us that we can kind of flow with the changes that the Tower may present in a way that's also strong, empowered, and productive. Okay? You are being guided to flow like water, blow like air, and connect with your purest intentions. Don't feel you need to rush ahead. A gentler approach will be more fruitful and rewarding. Move with subtlety and grace. Reach high. But also ask yourself how you can move with the flow of life rather than pushing against it. So don't fight against something that's falling apart if it is, for some of you. Just lean into it and know that you will be okay is kind of the feeling I'm getting. So do you have the capacity to refocus your gaze at this time? Can you slow down or take more time to soften and breathe as you move forward? All of this will be incredibly beneficial for what happens next. So let's go to the grounding stone. And the grounding stone is on dream. It's the stone. So I feel like with this tower situation that may need to fall apart or be dismantled, what would be the dream that we would put in its place? What would be the better like feeling, thinking alternative? And the reason why I say that is because in the midweek we're coming into that Three of Cups energy, which is sort of celebratory. There's a freedom to it. There's an emotional like lightness, connectedness, all of those sort of things. To me, I feel like as we maybe look at things that need to be changed, dismantled, or that are changing outside of our control, what do we want in place of that? What sort of dream might we want to fill that space with if it were to empty or take on a different shape? Does that make sense? That stone from Sunday of meditation, today is the day to meditate on what do we want in place of something that is no longer working, right? And if we could have really anything, taking that dream to the fullest extent is sort of my feeling. And how would that feel? How does that feel to you? Right? Even if it just feels like a fantasy, living in that fantasy for a moment, does it make you giddy? Does it make you excited? Does it make your butterflies in your stomach? Does the idea of being free of a situation that no longer serves you, does that freedom feel good? These are all things that I think you need to sort of check in with, ground in, meditate on today as you move through whatever you're looking at. If things appear bigger or crazier, if some of you feel like the rug is being pulled out from under you, that's okay. Understand that if that rug is being pulled right now in a situation, then that was not supposed to be there forever anyways. Instead of colliding against it and fighting against it, stand sort of at peace and, allow it to fall. That's sort of what the Shaolin Master is doing. Instead of, expending energy and trying to hold something together that really we maybe have known for a while is off. It's been off for a while. Does that make sense? I hope that does, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you guys tomorrow. I love you all. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and I will see you soon. All right, bye-bye.